Hello everybody and welcome back to the classroom. I'm your professor and today we're going to be continuing on where we left off. So I do apologize as last week I did not upload. That was because I was just a little busy. But today I will be giving you two new episodes. So for our first episode we're going to be finishing off our live system and adding a death tile. The death tile could be used as obstacles or used so if the player falls off the map they will be able to die and then respawn back on the map. So let's get started. We're going to open our player controller. I do also apologize that for the last 3 videos I did not have my cursor showing. I have since fixed that. So let's continue on. So to continue with our... Sorry, I was just doing a little bit of testing just to make sure everything is good. So to start off we have to add, if it'll load, using Unity Engine .ui. Now this adds it so we can add all our different UI elements like editing images and stuff. So, and then next we're going to go public sprite empty heart, as when we take damage it's going to replace one of our full hearts with an empty heart. Now we're just going to go down to the bottom and under check if grounded. We can just close that because we don't need to. We're gonna add a new function. I apologize. Public void take damage. We add this so once the player interacts with something that would cause damage, it's gonna call this function and the player's just gonna take damage. So inside here, we're gonna call our array list, and then inside it we're gonna add health -1. But as you can see, it cannot convert a float to an int. So to fix this, we're going to add 2 brackets at the front and add int. Now this will change our health variable to an int. I don't think it works if it had, well, it would, it'll just take the whole number. It just takes the whole number of the actual variable and converts it. This can also work with turning ints into floats. So next we're going to do .get component image. We're going to do .sprite equals empty heart. So anytime we take damage, it's going to call this first and it's going to change one of our sprites to an empty heart. Next we're going to do hearts.remove at, and we're going to do the same thing what we did. We're going to do int health -1. Now this has it so it'll remove the one sprite, or not sprite, but element in that list at that specific spot. And then we just do health -=1. And then we can also add a quick game over thing. So if health is greater to or equal to 0, and we'll just put all our game over functions here, which we could put, yeah, we'll leave it there for now, it's fine. Save that, and we're going to go back into the editor. Alright, if we go to our player, you will see that, where is it? Right there. We have an empty art slot. So we're just going to go into here where all our sprites are and then just go down. It should be titled tiles_packed_46. It might be different for you. Double click, so now it's there. If we do play, yeah, we have all those hearts. Excellent. And so to test out this function, we're going to make a quick death layer. So to do that, we are going to need to add an extra tile map. So we're going to go here. I am going to actually change this to world /ground, just so we can be a bit more organized with it. Then in the grid, we're going to add our tile map, rectangular, and we're just going to call this def. So just so we are able to differentiate Where it is, we're going to change the color to red, opening up our town palette. We can honestly just grab anything here. What's a good one that's for death? Well, it doesn't have to be, but we'll just use a mushroom. And as you see, it looks red right there. And we're just going to make a quick line just right across. You probably want to make this like a straight actual line, because if you have little bumps, it's gonna, players will probably see like, oh, why is it the death layer uneven? I don't know. It's just kind of good practice to have just like one straight layer. Next, we are going to add our tile map collider 2D, as well as our composite collider. It is just good practice just to add that. Use by composite and changing that to static. And then finally, we're going to need to set our composite to is trigger, because we don't want to actually land on it. We just want when the player hits it, they'll, just die. So we're going to add a new script called deathbox. Create that. If it will. We're just going to have to make this the old-fashioned way, I guess. There we go. Oh, yeah, so usually the project just kind of loads this up. It's just reloading the project each time. It's kind of annoying, but yeah, it's whatever. Just open up Deathbox, and from in here, all we got to do is remove our start and update because we don't need that. We're going to add a public transform and call this spawn point. This can also always be changed in runtime if you want to do checkpoints, which we can probably do in a future episode. So if collision, right, before I forget, because I almost did, you want to make sure you add an on trigger enter 2D, and then we go if collision dot game object dot tag equals player. So once it hits the player object, it will play this line of code, which is collision dot game object dot transform dot position equals spawn point dot position. Now once the player lands on this position, it's going to go right to where our spawn point is. And then finally we're going to do collision dot game object dot get component. We call this player controller, and then we're going to just call our function of take damage. So once we hit it, it will detect the player on that specific spot, and it'll just send us right back to a spawn point, and we'll take lovely damage. So we're just going to make sure we add our script to this. Alright, so the error we had there was simply because there was a space in the naming of this script. So just make sure when you actually name your script, it's all one or it has an underslash in it to, do the thing. But now you see how this doesn't have a space on it. I can just add it right onto it. That's just an annoying little thing. I don't know. It even gets me sometimes, so don't be afraid. So now we're just going to add an empty game object. We're going to reset the position, and then we're going to move it to where we want our player to spawn. Let's just put it a little right there. You just put it like a little above where the player would normally start, just because they're going to make a cute little fall. Or you just, honestly, anywhere. It doesn't really matter. And we're just going to label this spawn point. So now if we click our death box, we are just going to drag in our spawn point right onto it. And it's probably also good just to add a little dot so we know where our spawn points are. Now, if we click play, And, you know, our little guy just takes a bit of a dive. You see, we hit that and we spawned right here. But in the game scene, the player is able to see the death box, which isn't really supposed to happen. So to fix that, all you'd have to do is go to the camera, and we're just changing the culling mask, but we don't have one for our death box. So we're just gonna go right back here, just making sure I know what to set. I think you'd usually set the layer. So we go to our death box, add layer, just call it death box. Then going back to here, call everything, and then just do that. So when we click play and jump right down, it still shows it. Strange. It should have called it. Oh, right, because I didn't add the actual layer onto it. You know, I definitely know what I'm doing. Trust me, I'm the teacher. But yeah, if we go back onto here, do a huge jump down, now you see you can't see the actual death box. And also you do see that 3 of our hearts did go down. So there is our health system done. But, you know, if you have a health system, you also need a actual death mechanic. So quickly, I'm just going to go change how much health the player has, just a 3. Actually, let's just make it 1. You know, we play hardcore mode on this. Just collapse all of these. Excellent. We're going to do a quick save, just in case stuff crashes. And we're going to go back into our player controller. So once we're here, we're going to need to, it's pretty much doing the same thing as our scene change. We're going to do using Unity engine .scene management. And then we just put our game over function in. So all we'd have to do is add scene manager .load scene. Scene name. Now, if we had a game over script, we just call it game over, but I think what we had last time is just main menu, so you're just going to set it to that for now. But if you have a game over script, you'll change the scene to the game over. There's many ways you can do game over. You don't even have to load a scene. You could just kind of pause all movement and then add like an overlay that happens. This is good if you want like just a more on-screen thing and you don't have to change all the scenes. But we're just going to do this for now as it is one of the more simpler methods. So now that we have that, let's do a quick test. You know, we gotta grab some coins because, you know, we need money. And you see, we only got 1 health because I said to that. If I hit it, we go right back to our main menu. And click play. It starts it all over again. And that'll stop for this week's class. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful day.